Welcome, fans, to another edition of the flagship news show on the Cheap Heat Productions Network. That would be Ryder's Rasslin Review, where the big bad wolf, myself, and Mr. Cheap Heat himself, Morris, go through all the interesting news, to us anyway, of the week. And there's a ton to talk about this week, so we're not going to waste too much time getting into it. I'm Jack Kilby, of course, no gimmicks guy. We're of great blessing to be joined by the man of the people, the tireless public servant, the man who has such little time to himself, Morris Shortle, and of course, the big bad wolf himself, Mr. Ryder. Everyone, how are you doing this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are?
I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. Thank you for the wonderful introduction as usual. How's my Irish friend today?
I'm good. I'd like to welcome Jack to his own show and channel.
You'll always be the godfather of this channel. You're on a Legends deal now, so let that be known for sure. I guess what everybody is talking about so far. And, you're hearing takes from all over the spectrum. It's kind of a complex issue with respect to the recent releases announced, most notably Ron Killings, R-Truth, and Carlito, and a female talent that I'd never heard of before by the name of Valhalla, I believe. And there's a lot to unpack there. Apparently, Ron was offered a deal that was less than what he was looking for. And Carlito, a similar story, but he broke, I guess, protocol by announcing his upcoming departure before the company did. The fans are hot. They're talking about so many things, but why don't we start with the release of Ron, the Truth Killings, a guy that's been there for years, and what an anchor of the company in so many ways, as the many tributes have shown.
It's baffling to me that you would get rid of the most entertaining thing about an entertainment show. I don't know who made that decision. That was a foolish decision. I assume he's going to pop up at AEW, and if he does, being himself, if he's got the the authority to write his own script, he should go to AEW and be himself and pretend he's still on Monday Night Raw. And it'll be over thing on planet Earth.
They should have done like a loser gets fired match a couple of weeks ago then with him and John Cena. What a way that would have been to get Cena even. Well, he's got no heat really, but what a way it would have been to get him some.
Yeah, apparently it was a Triple H call for both of those releases, and the match that R-Truth had with Cena at the Saturday night's main event was an effort on his part to wake the company up to the fact that he's still valuable. And, though he's 53, doesn't certainly show it at all. But the fans are speaking out in terms of, there's two camps, some that say that it's just business, but others that are citing the fact that they're making record profits in terms of ticket prices. And they're not understanding the jive between the two. But Mr. Ryder, I know you have a lot of insight in terms of the UFC deal and their business model. And a lot of folks are saying they're using WWE to be a cash cow, if you will. What do you think of that situation?
Well, I mean, it depends how they have their books written up. I mean, I don't know how they have the company structured, but it sure seems that way. I don't think why are they keeping WrestleMania in Vegas? Like that was weird, right? Like that's used to try. Oh, you're going to keep it in Vegas? So they're either getting free hotel, they're getting something from the city that was lucrative to pay down their debt. It's just a lot of things are doing odd from a business perspective. It might make sense on paper, but in the long run, I can't see this working out well. The lowest ratings they've ever had for Raw, wasn't it?
Yes, for Monday's Raw, only 2.6 million viewers tuned in to the episode, and that is the the worst performance of the show since moving to Netflix. But since the debut, the ratings have consistently been down. Morris, I wanted to get your thoughts on what some are saying is a new model for the WWE, and that's getting rid of higher priced talent with larger contracts. Like Braun Strowman apparently was only released because he had a big price tag with him, and some are saying that they're planning on getting rid of the big contracts and continuously cycling in new, younger, or lesser costly talent. Does that not seem like a disastrous idea long term to you?
Do the numbers matter on Netflix, or how long is this going to be structured for? The thing that pissed me off this week was WWE coming into the after party market, and that Mark Henry coming to Dublin for an after party a week after I had announced one, and charging people €35 just to go into the nightclub. Well, mine is free.
That's
but at the same time, if they keep getting rid of, we'll say, top stars and guys on big money, they're going to have to be ringing the phone and saying, "Hey, Stone Cold, can you lace them up again and pay these guys big money for one-off appearances?" But that might counterbalance to whatever money they're going to be getting from Saudi Arabia every year now as well. So I don't know. Do ratings matter now on Netflix? Do they matter? I don't know.
It's a good point. I don't know if they matter anymore either.
Well, it matters in terms of deals when it comes to renegotiate deals. I know that's why Raw was one of the reasons why they were transitioned from the other network, because they promised the moon and didn't quite deliver that. But we're a long way from even looking at that deal again. One of the interesting points about this, though, is it kind of illustrates, and from a wrestler's perspective, Mr. Ryder, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people crap on AEW, and rightfully so, but isn't it more important to have options for the boys and girls to ply their trade if they're going to be performing, getting over? And we're going to talk about some talents that are definitely over, but seems like they're on their way out as well. But doing everything that they can to earn their money, and then they get the boot.
Yeah, it's not. I don't. Where's the incentive to be a big star there now? If they're just going to cut you or cap you, I mean, the whole goal. Yeah, it's fun to do, but if you're not there to make money, what are you doing? Why put your body through this? It doesn't make sense, and I don't know where they're capping them at. 300 grand. They were paying them 300 grand. All the rookies coming in. I guess that's over too.
Yeah,
are they going to go back to 125 grand? You can't be on the road making 125 grand and paying for your own car and everything. You'll be done. You'll be out of money in a week. I don't understand the philosophy here. I mean, from a business standpoint, they want to cut their labor costs. Okay, but you still got to sell the product. And if people aren't there to sell it, like, no one's paying to see these kids from NXT. And like I said, Mariah May showed up, and it was a fucking dud. Like, what the fuck happened to her?
What's her name? That's the
she has a name. I'm sure they're going to try to figure out how they can steal Mariah May somehow. But it seems like they bring them in, they put them through the frickin' the 2-year bachelor degree career college in Orlando. They crank out the same exact wrestler, the same exact style, the same. I don't see how you're going to create another Roman Reigns, John Cena, or Rock out of that.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you bring up Roman Reigns, because today a source supposedly close to him said that he might be done too.
He doesn't need the money.
Everything. He's got a nice career lined up for himself in Hollywood with his cousin, no doubt.
Yeah, and draws like that aren't growing on trees, so it's it's an interesting situation in terms of I think it's a strategy that will eventually bite them in the ass, because who's going to pay 1,700 euros for like Morris paid for an upper bowl seat to see a bunch of and no disrespect against the talent, obviously they're talented or they wouldn't be there, but cards without stars. Do you agree with that, fellas?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with it. You know, you have to build this. You need those veterans, man. It's very hard to have someone come in there and like lightning in a bottle, like Brock Lesnar came out of the gate hot. He's few and far between. I mean, LA Knight, they've been pushing the hell out of him. What happens to him now? We're not going to give you a raise or a push now because you want too much money?
Yeah. Yeah. You're almost punished for getting over.
Yeah, then Cody Rhodes, what do you do with him? He's neither over anymore, but he's got a lot of power. So is he?
Guess what, though? Guess what? Everyone will still applaud Triple H. You're doing a fantastic job, Triple H. You can't do any wrong. Well done.
Yeah, but it might not be him. He doesn't run the company. You know what I mean? There's a board of directors now looking at profit margin sheets that are telling them what to do and where to make the cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, the deepest cuts hurt the most.
I think it's a case.
Hard heel.
It's a case of the upper echelon there, looking at the WWE. I think as unfortunately a short-term property, and they're going to ride it till the wheels fall off the horse and then try and sell it. But to whom?
Well, we're talking about Raw. Have you looked at the ring in Raw and then the ring on SmackDown? Did you notice the difference? The ring on Raw looks like a frickin'. There's no more room left for advertising, and the SmackDown ring just has the logo in the middle of it, no advertising on it. And what are the ratings? What are the ratings for SmackDown?
Is SmackDown still on TV in the States, or is it just streaming?
It's still on TV in the States.
Still on TV. Yeah.
And the ring has no advertising on it, just the WWE logo, and it's a much better show.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that plays out for sure, but it's all signs point to. I don't think from the fan perspective, a very positive, at least immediate future. Speaking of guys that are seemingly over, that the fans are clamoring for, that can't seem to get a break, is Karrion Kross. We talked about his shoot style promo after WrestleMania, and he hasn't had a lot of TV time. All that interest, it doesn't seem like they followed up on him at all, and he's not even in Money in the Bank. Vince Russo on his excellent show with Jonathan Coachman, Coach and Bro, I think that show is one of the most insightful ones out there right now in terms of people that have been there and know the business. They're telling it like it is. He has said one of the things I understand is that Karrion Kross's contract may be up in August. Now think about this. Karrion Kross's contract is up in August. He's getting over, and all of a sudden negotiations come up, and he says, well, man, I'm getting over, and this is what I'm looking for in terms of a figure. And then they don't push him, and then it's easy to say, well, we tried, you're not over. And Vince says, I hate to say this because I love the guy, but that's a pattern that we see. In other words, getting released when they're not really putting full effort into it. What do you make of that? That, Ryder, you're a vet who's been in the business a long time. That seems counterintuitive to ensure that when you catch that lightning in a bottle, that you don't do anything with it.
They do it all the time. Triple H said it years ago. You're not going to see another John Cena. They're not going to let it happen. They don't want it to happen because then that person has power. They said John Cena will be the last one to be that over. And then Roman Reigns popped off. You're not going to have another guy like that. They're not going to let Cody stay over much longer. They're not going to pay you. That's the whole thing. They don't want to make millions and millions and millions. I mean, they're making more now than when I was there by a long shot. You know, when I was there, we all started making $100 a show. You know what I mean? We're just happy to be on TV. They started giving me $600 a show, and everybody was shocked. You know what I mean? So, like, nowadays, they're not going to pay it anymore. They don't have to. There's too many kids coming up that want to do it, and they think that people are going to watch it no matter what because there's no other wrestling show to watch.
The last person I remember getting himself over and working for a significant amount of time was Zack Ryder. Remember, with this internet title and all this stuff he was doing online, people ate that up. eventually he got let go. But I could see him coming back to WWE at some point as well.
He said that he's never been invited back. He said he's made the call, and they just have not invited him back.
Maybe there's a problem there.
You know,
Look at what they're doing with his wife.
Vince was big on if it wasn't his creation, he wouldn't let it get over. You know, now all these cookie cutter gimmicks coming out of NXT, they're all exactly the same, and none of them are over. They can't even talk. So I don't know what the business plan is, but SmackDown's a much better show than Raw.
And that's another area that people have talked about. Man, they're not doing house shows anymore, so they're not getting their reps in. No wonder the shit sucks. You know, they're trying out, say, a line or a catchphrase or something, and it's the first time they try it. It's in front of a televised crowd. That's not the way it should be. And look at, not to pick on the women, but look at the rash of injuries that have happened lately on television because they're just too green to be on TV. What happened with being TV ready?
They don't care about that anymore. They just care about the stupid flips and whatnot. The girls are trying to wrestle like AJ Styles. And they're not, it's not the Super 8 tournament every night of the week. They have no psychology. How many moves can we get in? Everyone's doing that stupid Canadian Destroyer. How many times? It's the new super kick.
Yeah, right.
It's in the middle of the match. It's a finisher.
Right.
And the one girl, the poor girl, broke her leg this week. And what was her name? The one tore her ACL and whatnot.
Yeah, I just talked about her on the weekend, and I've forgotten already. That's
that was the other girl's fault because they're all rushing around at 100 miles an hour. It's too fast. It's too I don't know who taught them to go that fast. And Steve Corino's there. And if you ever seen Steve Corino work, he don't do nothing, man. So they're either not listening or they're not giving him any power anymore because he gets in the ring, does a whole lot of nothing. And Steve Corino, if you watch him in ECW, that man was over like a son of a bitch. They should give him a little more power and take away these people that want to do 40,000 super kicks into Canadian Destroyers. Kick out on 2. Zoe Stark. Thank you. Whoever that was.
No, yeah. Noah's saying Zoe Starks. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. She announced that she's retiring too. But speaking of women, you touched on it earlier. The long-awaited, debut of Mariah May on NXT. Get your take on whatever that was. Some fans are excited, but others are saying, you know, you're releasing R-Truth and Carlito for this, and they refer to her as just another generic blonde. I must admit, I'm not really all that conversant with her work, but is there something special in her that we didn't see in that debut?
I didn't see anything great. I didn't think it was a great debut for her. I think her run with oh my God, my brain's dead today. I think her run today with Toni Storm was tremendous. But I think that was Toni Storm. Toni Storm's that good. Her character is that strong that she can carry that one. And again, I said it was the best heel turn I've ever seen for a girl, for Mariah May, when she hit her with a shoe. It made sense. Who do you put her up against in NXT? I don't even know who this new girl who has the belt in NXT. She looks like a bird. She just came out of an egg.
I don't watch NXT.
No, shit.
That's the problem. They're too interchangeable. I mean, clearly because they go through the same system, and if you've been in another, like apparently this lady has worked in I guess the Stardom promotion and other promotions, AEW of course, but once they hit the NXT system, they all become basically the same. So I guess we'll see what happens there. But I watched the clip, and afterwards I said I don't get it, but we'll see.
You know, when I compare, if I'm comparing my era to this era, and listen, anyone who steps in the ring, I respect it, and I appreciate it. But we had OVW, we had ECWA, we had Heartland Wrestling, we had Florida, we had WWE training centers all over the place, and we had Jim Cornette, we had Danny Davis, we had Les Thatcher, we had Jim Kettner. Every one of them knew psychology, and everyone taught you how to work. Did you see what happened when Zoe Stark got hurt? They all stopped.
Mm.
They didn't know what to do because now the script changed, and the ref had to go tell the girls what was next. He put me, Doug Basham, and I don't know, Rob Conway in there. Somebody gets hurt, guess what? Roll out of the ring, get out of the way. We're going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Ref checks on him. We're going to keep going. They didn't know what to do because they don't know how to work.
Yeah, I see that even at a.
For me to say about Rhea Ripley, but she doesn't know how to work. I don't think she can call the match on the fly.
I seen it at a show over here recently, where someone got a concussion off the. Guy was coming off the top rope, hit him. He didn't kick out, obviously, and the match just ended there and then, but it wasn't supposed to. But just continue on, as you say.
Well, listen, you get a concussion, end the match. Like, I mean, that happens. Yep. Somebody gets hurt, game over. We don't keep going. But three-way, roll out, get out of the way. Yeah. What are you laying in the middle of the ring? We're on live TV. Mm-hmm. Get out of the way. Yeah, I don't know. Chaos.
It's
they don't know how to work, and they're being trained by Shawn Michaels and Albert and Secret, and they don't know how to work. I don't understand.
Well, because they're working for television, maybe, and they're not learning the basics, and again, they're not getting the reps in. I think the business has suffered greatly in terms of professionalism, definitely since WCW and ECW went away. But when we lost the territories, it's just never been the same. It's basically a TV product now, and it's definitely not as good in my opinion. But one of our favorites here on the show is back in the news, and that would be Ric Flair. I can't wait to get your take on this. I've seen every angle of this. I mean, he's striking hard. Morris brought this to my attention yesterday, that just what the public has been waiting for. It's the legendary Ric Flair Spirits, certified products, vodka, gin, bourbon, tequila, and woo-ski. So maybe they should run a disclaimer there that you remove your pants when you drink that stuff. But here's the first news item where he caught a lot of heat for a tweet about Jim Ross, good old JR, of course, who underwent successful colon cancer surgery. You see what he said there? Jim Ross will always be Jim Ross, seeking attention, focus on your recovery. Big backlash. And then he deleted that and said, if you can't take a joke from a 76-year-old man, then you're living life too seriously. It was all harmless, lighthearted fun, just trying to make people laugh and smile, because nothing says lighthearted fun like fucking cancer. So what's your take on that, starting with you, Morris?
I think he obviously meant it, and he was probably drunk at the time. That's my opinion. I doubt Jim Ross would find it funny. I don't know if there's a problem there with those two guys. I'm not sure, but not a nice thing to say. Not a nice person, anyway.
I think he was joking with his friend Jim Ross. He's just fucking with him. I don't think it was anything horrible.
But then he wouldn't have deleted it.
Well, he deleted it because 3,000 people commented on it and took it too seriously. But he was just making fun of his friend, and they talk all the time, as my understanding. Him and Jim Ross are pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's because of, regardless of it's a joke or not, it would be something that I think if my friend underwent that and there was I was trying to make him laugh, I'd text him and say, focus on your recovery, laugh out loud. I wouldn't probably post it on social media, but I think that's what he, whether his team or himself or whoever runs his account, because check this one out. I popped at this one. Even an Oscar winner has taken a ride on Space Mountain. Ric Flair claims he had sex with Halle Berry. And here's some more info on this one. I guess it was with Conrad Thompson. And he said that in between this period, somewhere in the 2000s there, he had Halle. However, she said that this never happened. I don't understand what the point of that whole thing would be, because at 76 years old, let's face it, he's not exactly calling the women between 18 and 35 to come to the Marriott in downtown Charlotte anymore, or am I missing something? Maybe he's on great gimmicks. They've made real strides in Cialis and those things. So, what do you guys think of that?
I think I've heard this story before. It wouldn't surprise me if it was real. Ric Flair's a pretty popular guy. I can see it having happened. I can see it having that happen, yes. I wouldn't.
I don't know. That's a long time ago. I suppose he did look significantly younger back in the 2000s. Possibility.
He was Ric Flair. He may have pulled it off.
Yeah, I'm just
Hogan. If it was Hulk Hogan saying it, I'd be like, it's full of shit. I've never known Ric Flair to make this shit up about the girls. He's pretty much verified every story that he's ever told.
Well, yeah, that's I guess, but I'm just wondering what. I guess because he's going to debut these beauties here, the Ric Flair collection, that he wanted to get a little buzz on, right?
What took him so long to come up with that? Like he's about 20 years away on that one.
So now he's going to have his free weed, he's free whiskey, he's free gin, he's free vodka. And what's the other one?
We've got vodka, gin, bourbon, tequila.
And yeah, there's going to be a lot more tweets coming our way.
Yeah. Well, we saw him in Philly there on May the 3rd, Mr. Ryder, and he I don't know, they weren't exactly breaking down the door to get a picture, even though the price was somewhat reasonable. It was $100, I guess, for an autograph and a photo op. I thought he would have done a lot better than he did, notwithstanding his about $80,000 price tag.
He did pretty well. I don't think the show did very well.
He did great.
I wish I had gotten that to walk in the building.
Who knows though? I think you're right, Morris. I think he probably gets juiced up at night and can't resist the temptation to send out. So at least he's entertaining. Let's give him that. Speaking of not entertaining or strange, I thought this story was a little bit in the, I guess, hypocritical sort of position, and that's ex-WWE star criticized the company for body shaming. As we talked about, I guess, was that last week? Cora Jade was released, and I guess she made an appearance on Ariel Helwani's show and said, I definitely think things went differently if it wasn't for certain things like the body shaming thing. I came in at 19 years old. I was like 110 pounds. I was so small. It was constant comments, whether it was from guys who think they were being funny, or I'm not going to name names again, but I specifically remember being told that I wasn't and wouldn't be a champion in that company because I looked like I couldn't crack an egg. Multiple conversations over my body, which I don't think anyone, especially as another man, should be saying that to a female. I can barely get through this. Sorry. Say this to a female. I was so young and it created a lot of issues for me body-wise. Oh, clearly. But obviously I gained much muscle after that and I worked my ass off. This comment in the face of an announcement that she's going to start an OnlyFans and make money off creeps, quote unquote.
I think the only way of body shaming women is calling them fat. That didn't happen or move along.
Let me tell you something. We wrestle in our underwear. All right? Let's be realistic here. And if you look like shit, they're going to tell you you're too skinny. And she just said she put on muscle, right? Well, who helped her do that? Right? Probably the trainer that told her she's too skinny. It's body shaming. You want to be a professional athlete? Here's what you have to do. These weak-minded, and now she's so weak-minded that instead of going to AEW, because they don't want her because she gave up this stupid comment, she's going to go on OnlyFans and sell pictures of her asshole. Wow. Wait till she sees the body shaming on that one.
Yeah,
do her first OnlyFans, and then in 8 years from now, I guess that won't be on the internet anymore, and she'll be able to go to a normal job and a good career, right?
It'll be
really for a 20. How old is she? 22.
She's young. She's young, but this is
ashamed of himself.
Well, this is one of the things that has come up before. I remember now she's the darling of WWE, but back in the day, she had an OnlyFans and another, I guess, one of the other platforms. And you know what? I've forgotten her name too. She was from TNA, the muscle chick on the gas who started at WWE in the Royal Rumble, and she's now on the NXT roster. Noah, if you're watching, help me out. You know who we're talking about here.
Little blonde, the beat Bubba Ray Dudley, right?
Yeah, the little muscle chick. I'm trying to remember. Isn't that awful? I can't even remember her name. Wow. But anyway, maybe that's best. She used to go on these rants about men objectifying me in the ring, and I want to be respected as a worker, and I'm a professional athlete. I think somebody's jumping in here. Oh yeah, thanks Noah. Jordan Grace. There you go. She's so over with me I couldn't remember her name, but that could be CTE acting up here too. But she would go on about, I'm a worker, I'm a wrestler, I want to be treated seriously, and then as you said, would be showing pictures of her butthole. You can't have it both ways, kids.
If she do it on Monday Night Raw, the ratings might get better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's how we're going to replace R-Truth.
we're going to show OnlyFans.
I'm just thinking about R-Truth. He could do some really. R-Truth could do some fun stuff with Dustin Reynolds, ex-Goldust over in AEW, perhaps.
He is afraid. He's going to announce next week that he is an OnlyFans. And
R-Truth, yeah, I think he has.
Do you see the hypocrisy in that? Like that.
Every single dude. Daniel Pooter. Remember Daniel Pooter? He won Tough Enough.
Yep.
I was there when Tommy Dreamer told him how fat he was, and he would never make it in the business. And the dude had an 8-pack, and he's like, "We thought." And Tommy Dreamer just lit him up and told him how fat he was. And I'm like,
that's the pot kettle, right?
I look at myself like, I guess I'm okay. Dreamer, of all people, you look like shit. You fucking you know what the kid did? He went over to, I think, Doug Basham, Rob Conway. He's like, Dreamer just told me I'm fat. And he's lost like 4 pounds. Yeah. All right, I'm on TV. You're looking at a fat slob. Your chin out. How come you can say it to men? I can tell a man, yo, you better get bigger. They're not going to use you on TV. I didn't get offended. Just got bigger. Unbelievable. So offended by everything.
I just find it does, and I know we've got another Women's Revolution pay-per-view coming up. I think it really is. It does a disservice to their credibility. Those that say, I'm a professional athlete, love me for my work, and yet also have these sort of sidelines or whatever where they're selling naked pictures of themselves. Like, sex appeal sells, that's fine, but then don't be on your soapbox criticizing wrestling fans that objectify them. I think you're sucking and blowing at the same time. No pun intended.
It's so unfair. They're always the victim, but they can open an OnlyFans, get 1,000 followers, and give them $10 a freaking month. And I can't.
Surely I think OnlyFans has peaked now to what it can be. I can't see it sustaining what it has. Probably got a lot of people through some hard times during COVID. That's about it.
I saw what you did there. Yeah, apparently it's for sale because I think Mr. Ryder and I talked about this last week. It's for sale because AI is growing in leaps and bounds, and real female performance artists or whatever they call themselves are going to be obsolete soon.
Conor McGregor said during the week that he's in serious negotiations to buy OnlyFans.
How great would that be?
Wow.
Make OnlyFans great again.
I hope he buys OnlyFans and becomes the president of Ireland, and I will move to Ireland immediately.
Yeah, quite a
propane and air conditioning company in Ireland. Let me know where.
Yeah, he could do worse as the head of state there. And another sort of story related to the last one, and also another discussion about airing your business on the internet. Apparently, Thunder Rosa. I remembered her name, even though I wrote it down. But Thunder Rosa is upset with AEW. She was out for 17 months because of an injury, and she talked about on her own vlog that she's frustrated that she continues to lose. She's not reached her quest to be the AEW Women's Champion. She was going to have some kind of a program with Britt Baker, I guess, but that never developed. And she said, and I quote, losing makes you really like somber and sad and question yourself. And I've been questioning myself a lot lately, straight up. I want to be champion, but everyone else is telling me that I don't have what it takes to be champion. Yeah, I'm just like, okay, what the fuck do I do? Show my tits.
If Thunder Rosa can go on to WWE TV and find one match that I won, I'll give her $1,000. And you know what? I walked into major arenas in front of 15,000 people, 100,000 over in Africa, and I didn't care if I won or lost because it's not real, Thunder Rosa. Shocking, but Timeless Tony Storm is really over and you're not. Maybe she should look in the mirror at her boring ass gimmick and realize that Timeless Tony Storm did something unbelievable. She's going to get her spot.
Exactly. Morris, you're familiar with Thunder Rosa's work, correct? You've seen her in the ring.
Yeah.
Do you think her statement that if she did show her breasts, that probably wouldn't be a lucrative thing because she's quite, I guess, slender in that area or minimalist up there? Do you think that would be a winning model for her with what she's bringing to the table, so to speak?
It could be because there's a market for everyone on OnlyFans. You know, some people like flat, some people like big. You know, I haven't seen her wrestle that much. She did wrestle in Ireland a few times, but I don't watch AEW, so I'm not too up to date. Obviously, she's lost a few matches, as Mr. Ryder would say there. Oh, end of the world, isn't it?
Who cares?
Maybe she should start training for UFC, maybe, if she's worried about winning and losing.
She does have an MMA background.
Okay, maybe she should go back into that.
The freaking Miz, they did a math on it. He lost like 8,000 something matches or something. He's a two-time Grand Slam champion.
Isn't he heavily rumored to be exiting shortly too?
Well, he's got American Gladiators coming up.
Yes.
Okay.
So he's gonna be okay.
Oh, yeah. Look what Noah put up. She does cooking in her underwear on Patreon. Well, there you go.
Oh, well, gee, I wonder why. Okay. I wonder why they won't let her win. Really? That's crazy. And they won't make her the face of the company. Shocking.
What does she be cooking? Anything nice or?
Hopefully nothing involving hot oil because I could see that being problematic. If it
she's not cooking up any victories.
No, well, there you go. Listen to you. You're on fire.
I see what you did there. The mindset of these people, they're just demented. They're demented people. Imagine demanding you should be champ because I want to be. I have a contract with AEW, but I also go on Patron and show my asshole while I'm cooking pizzas. Can I be the champion? Well, what about the pizza thing you just said? Gets me over. Yeah, the little kids' parents will love buying your T-shirts.
Respect me as a worker. I'm just never continue to be amazed about people under contract that go on the internet and put this stuff out. Period. Female, male, whatever. They air their business in the public domain. It blows me away. What do they think that's going to do? Like, oh yes, you're right. We're going to make you champion now. We're going to push you now.
Yeah,
Maybe the opposite.
I'm going to complain my way to the title, just like John Cena. But he never complained at all. Oh, he must have. Huh? No, he shut up and sat in the corner. He literally didn't do anything.
Unfrickin' believable. Well, the last two stories are interrelated. I'll start with Vince McMahon, according to WrestleNomics, has a new company called 14th, and it's either I or First, with a focus on sports media. And is it one? Okay, thank you. Sports media and entertainment. I guess it's a multi-faceted company, and the name is related to Vince Sr.'s Capital Wrestling Corporation was on 14th and 1 in Washington. So that's where the name comes from. It's rather open-ended in terms of the way it's described, but the filing suggests the firm intends to engage in both private equity investments and development of scripted programming. And former executive of WWE named Brad Bloom is the president. So there's no firm idea other than that about what the entertainment property is going to look like. Could be wrestling, but they're talking about at the age of 79, 80 in August, Vince apparently has no plans of slowing down. What do you guys think? Do you think there's a purchase of WWE happening again, or new deal, or what? And we'll talk in a bit about the impact of the lawsuit, but what do you make of the new company?
It's a private equity firm. I had a feeling he was going to go for this, which means he's going to start buying up smaller companies, package them together, and then sell them in bulk once they hit a certain revenue margin, which could be 100 million, 200, but whatever it becomes. I'm not sure what business he's going to buy, though, but I'm going to send an email and find out, because if he's got a private equity company, I'm going to make some money with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think he'll probably wait until, we're going to touch on it probably in a while, until all this court situation is done before he really gets going on this, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's interesting how the bloom seems to be off the rose with Triple H. I mean, he seems to. The fans were the fans are fickle, but 6 months, 9 months ago it was, oh my God, Triple H, the new era, blah blah blah, and now everybody seems to be pining for Vince, despite soiling himself in a threesome. So yeah, I think there's probably I have to bring that up every show because I do have PTSD from reading that. I can't get it out of my mind, but yeah, there's probably a strong possibility that he ends up in wrestling again. I mean, is the guy a cyborg though at 80? I mean, I'm 50 and I want to sit on my porch and drink vino. I can't imagine being 80 and being involved in the operation of a vibrant company. Can you? What do you think about that? Is age finally going to catch up to him? We know it has in terms of his bowels, but what about everything else?
I think him and his best friend Donald Trump are in competition to see who can outdo each other. They're both going to live forever. They're both billionaires. One's taking over the world. The other one's trying to make more money. So we'll see what he does. Listen, I love Vince. I think Vince is going to keep going, and he's not going to, just like his father. His father never retired, So Vince is going to keep on going until the day he dies, which hopefully is a long time off. Because I love Vince. The entire lawsuit is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I still don't know what she's suing him for, but she actively participated. I didn't realize you could sue somebody because you're a
sex trafficking. We bring this up all the time. That's exactly what it is.
Because you chose to do immoral things, you cannot blame the other participants for it.
Well,
I think.
Go ahead.
When he is going to be 80, but he is a rich man, and I think he'll hire the right people around him to make it work. He'll be making the decisions, but other people will be doing the lifting.
Well, he does have the name genetic jackhammer for a reason. It's people have compared WWE to without Vince to Walt Disney being gone from Disney, like Disney without Walt. And I think that's a an apt comparison. I think the outright gouging of fans, say what you want about Vince, but whatever was best for business in terms of making the fans happy, I think Vince did. And this new cold, clearly business-minded to the detriment of everything else entity certainly doesn't have the same approach. And people are saying the magic's gone. So I agree with you, Mr. Ryder. I think if Vince came back, it would be a good thing, and the fans would only benefit. He probably has some new undergarments that would take care of the problem. So if he got into those activities again, it wouldn't be repeated. But yeah, interesting times.
He could be back to shake things up.
Shane McMahon going to meet with AEW is a lot different than Vince McMahon going to meet with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
You want to turn the Raiders on AEW?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Would that not be exciting? Yeah, if Tony, like Vince introduced Eric Bischoff, if Tony introduced Vince, my God, that would be all anybody would talk about for a while. But our last story is also an interesting one in terms of, did you hear about Johnny Ace? Apparently John Laurinaitis has flipped, and he has agreed to provide evidence, quote unquote, against Vince McMahon and WWE. It doesn't say what the evidence is, but in exchange for a settlement in which the claims against Ace would be taken down, then he would provide evidence to, and I'll quote this, the next step towards holding McMahon and WWE accountable for and bringing justice to Miss Grant after years of sex abuse and trafficking. So I'll get your assessment on that first, and then read you what Vince's legal team had to say.
I know what evidence he has. I know what he handed over. It's the underwear. He handed him he had Vince's soiled drawers. He handed him in his evidence. It's the blue dress. It's the Monica Lewinsky blue dress of this generation. It's the soiled underwear of Vince McMahon and a vulture.
Smithsonian.
What did he hand her? What did he hand her? Some text messages. Vince going, "Oh, I'd like to bang her." Okay, for what?
Yeah, it's a lot of people say that he was a kind of a slippery character. So this is just a way of him kind of exiting the building from all this stuff and throwing it onto Vince one more time.
First, let me tell you something. No one was better than Johnny Ace than Vince McMahon, and for him to do this is a real scumbag move. If he did it, right? Because they all said during the FBI hearing that Hulk Hogan he's taking state's evidence against Vince McMahon. That was bullshit too. So it could be a work.
I think these days, though, with the internet, I think everything is.
They want me to turn. He was like, "Good, here, give him this, and then we'll destroy him in court."
Yeah, I think these days, though, with the internet, I think back in the 80s, like everything was kind of, with the internet now, I think this will be what it is on paper. I think he will be hanging Vince out to dry.
But what's he? All he's gonna do is pay LeBron. Well, how much longer he lets just pay or should go away?
Well, they're signaling that they're more concerned with setting the moral record straight than getting a payday. But I would assume the number probably hasn't reached what they're looking for yet.
Well, they probably want $30 million or so. But you know what? They're not going to get that if she wins in court. Where are they going to court at? Where they file the lawsuit?
I think it's in Connecticut.
Big old good liberal state. That's probably where you want it. Or they might get it up there.
Well, he paid. What did Vince pay out a few years ago to Rita? Around about $3 to $4 million.
Yeah.
Sable got $10 million. And
I think other unnamed individuals received a bunch of them received about 12 million total, which was the source of his downfall from the corporation because they're alleging misappropriation of funds. But Vince's team said today's dismissal of John Laurinaitis says the defendant doesn't alter the facts of this case in any way. Vince McMahon never mistreated Janelle Grant, and no matter how many press releases her team issues, the truth remains unchanged. I don't know if I've asked you this before, but Mr. Ryder, did you have any dealings with Johnny Ace?
I did. I always got along well with Johnny Ace. I did screw up one time with Johnny Ace, and he was mad at me, and it was my own fault. Because I asked him about going to Japan, and they were going to send me to Japan, and he said, I was in Philly when we had the conversation. I think Baltimore was the next day, and he said, bring your 8x10s and some tapes, and I'll send them over to whatever it was over there at the time. And I showed him the tapes and forgot the 8x10s, and he was fucking pissed. But we settled it's good. I apologized. And he used to call me all the time, not all the time, but he called me every now and then to check in and tell me I was booked. I never had a problem with Johnny Ace. He's hard to understand because of his voice, but I never had an issue with John.
Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy his run on TV, Morris, against Cena there? That was an interesting
what was his catchphrase again?
People power.
People power. Yeah, that it kind of was entertaining. He never came across as a good TV character, in my opinion, but it was still entertaining.
He was very stiff and he didn't speak very well. But he did invent the Stone Cold Stunner, so I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm. And he got over in Japan because allegedly Giant Baba's wife really took a shine to him.
Yeah, well, probably,
Some things never change.
Sex trafficking. Sex trafficking. See? And they're coming to Giant Baba.
I would just hope that they could put this to bed shortly because it's been dragging on a very, very long time, and I think it's at best a distraction now.
It's just stupid. And I remember Brock Lesnar was Brock Lesnar's name's been wrong.
Although he hasn't come back yet, so who knows?
Well, he probably won't come back now if they don't want to pay the freaking R-Truth. They're not going to pay Brock $3 million to walk on a pay-per-view.
Did the last episode of Dark Side of the Ring, Muhammad Hassan, did that come out yet? Is that out this week?
Yes, I believe it was last week, and I have to watch that, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that.
Should be a good one. He's in Western New York. Sorry, Mr. Ryder?
I've never seen one episode of it.
They're all the same.
Pretty good.
Same episode over and over again.
Some of it is very, very repetitive.
How do I get one? I want one on me. Maybe the dark side of the ring, I'll be crying. I'll be like, and then I'm so poor I can only afford a medium-sized hot tub and 3 Harley Davidson. It's a fake
sex trafficking.
It was the downfall of my life.
Sex trafficking, yeah.
I only made $300,000 that year. It was horrible.
You haven't had any, I know a surefire way to get one, but have you had any interactions with Abdul the Butcher or no?
I went to Africa with Abdul the Butcher.
Well, there you go.
Abby loves me. I haven't seen, I've got it a long time. We were in Africa. We were in the lobby of a hotel in Africa, in Uganda. And I was down. It was me, Coca Beware, Abdul the Butcher, and I think Snooker was down there drunk as hell, and a couple other Indian guys were there. And Abdul asked me if I would go. Would you do me a favor and go ask Tony Atlas if I can borrow $100? And I said, you need $100? He goes, yeah. Can you go ask him? And I reached my pocket. Here's $100. And he looked at me in disbelief. He just met me. He goes, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And he came back to me the next day with my 100. I think he gave me 120 the next day and gave me a big hug and told me he couldn't believe I would reach my own pocket and give a total stranger $100. And I said, Abby, where are you going to go? we're in the middle of Africa hotel. It's fine. I love that. Good guy. I always thought he was a good guy. Bit of a bleeder. The guy winks and starts bleeding, but I thought he was a good guy. And apparently he's got a hell of a barbecue place there in Atlanta.
Oh, his House of Ribs. Yeah, I think that closed. Despite some of the heat that he gets from some discredited people, I think he is generally a beloved figure in the business still to this day.
Yeah, he was.
Blood trafficking.
Trafficking.
Well,
blood trafficking.
We'll have to see if we can get the producers of the Dark Side of the Ring on the show to for you to lay out your horrible story, and we'll see.
I want just Chris Jericho to talk about how horrible my life's been, mother.
That's right.
Floating in my medium-sized swimming pool in Florida.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of tears shed. Well, we've reached the end of another very entertaining edition of Ryder's Rasslin Review. Morris, thanks for making it. I know your Legends deal specifies only one appearance per month-ish, but every time you're here, it's a very, very enjoyable show. What I want to talk before we go, shout out your show that's coming up, man. 75 or 80%.
Yes, we're nearly there. We've got 10 days to go, and we're at 75% capacity. So very little tickets left again. Looks like it's going to sell out again. So happy days.
And what's the show called, and where can everybody grab their get their tickets that are in the area?
The show is called NLW's Saturday Night's Main Event, and you can get your tickets on eventbrite.ie.
That's awesome. I will be very interested to see how that turns out, because you've adopted a bit of a what's the word, an enforcer persona, and you're keeping the heels in line. Is there any chance you're going to get involved in some more physicality on this show? Are you training? What are you doing? Tell me. Not
this time. The guy that saved me last time is actually working in the States at the moment. He fought Enzo Amore the other night in Nick Barberi's promotion that you had on a couple of weeks back. Limo was involved in that segment. We were going to do something this time, I think, but we're going to leave it on the back burner maybe until he gets back.
Fair enough. Well, fans, if you're in that area, make sure you check it out. Support independent wrestling wherever you are. Final word goes to you, Ryder, before we shut her down.
I'm just excited that Cora Jade will be debuting her OnlyFans. I know her last appearance is going to be on Maurice's show. She's in the main event, which will be held at the hotel after the show.
And we won't be showing any of that content. But fans, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to this great channel, Cheap Heat Productions. Hit the notification button, all that stuff. And if you like this video, make sure that you indicate that, and we will see you next time. Thank you for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Cheap Heat Productions. Don't forget to hit the notification button, and you won't miss any